person full of energy walked towards me because we booked online and to have a conversation. And we said, hey, let's meet in person. And then that's what happened. So here we are, history in the making.
That's it.
Okay.
And the power of relationships.
That's what I do.
Is your mastery.
Yes.
That is your mastery.
Yeah, I told you. They told me that I'm the queen of connection.
You are.
But I've decided I'm going to become Empress. I like to level up things.
Go, girl.
Okay.
Work it.
Well, that being said, I just want you to know that this is so exciting for me because we have a common kind of goal to make girls. I don't want. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what you're going to make, girls. You'll let you tell us. Okay. So first of all, my name is Diana Szyszka-Pompei, and I did remember. I'm so proud of myself. I did remember that. Okay. I am the executive director of the Canadian Business Council, and we have a series of wonderful podcasts which we like to make sure we share with our community and the community at large. So I'm with Dr. Katherine Iscoe, and she is an international speaker, author of the Self-Respect Playbook. So do you think that's what our common goal is? It could be. So let's get on the reading glasses because there's so much more about her. I could tell you a couple of things, but we'd probably have to take that off mic. Okay, she's a mentor who has dedicated her work in helping people understand their own minds so that they can achieve more faster. I love that. That's really cool. So, obviously, she's got a list as long as your arm of organizations she's worked with, Ferrari, Medtronic, Chevron, and her insights have really been important for the international community and international publications like Cosmopolitan and Vogue. Now, who of us have not dog-eared a couple of pages of those magazines? Okay, and I'm sure there's a lot of young women out there, as I call my future leaders, okay, that will be really happy to have get into this conversation that we have. She's obviously as smart as a whip. I could tell you that. A former tech CEO, board member, author, and a graduate. She's impressive in achievements. From even before the age of 13. I'm just looking a little bit of your bio and summary, but I'd like to see how real you kept this. She's going to talk about some of after the age of 13, those what our parents and we ourselves would call difficult years, had decades of struggling from an eating disorder, which I'm sure is on the minds of so many families and children, kind of really hits home for the fact that the society tells us so much. Right? Severe depression and suicide thoughts. Oh, I wanted to be there to hold your hand. I'm sorry we weren't in the same neighborhood. And despite appearing successful outside, the facade, the Instagrammable moment, as I call it. There's our Instagrammable moment. All right. I think that, achievement, what you were saying here, achievement and self-worth are not the same thing. And I think how we're trying to measure achievement is really hard. What society tells us to measure in pounds and days and I don't know what measurement. Yes, whatever.
Virality.
Oh my gosh. So we're going to talk. She's also I love this program that you have called Dare to Dream because I think the dare part is the hardest part. I mean, we all have dreams, but just got to go move it forward. Helping young women build their self-respect, confidence, and clarity to create a future that is truly her own. OMG. Okay, Dare to Dream. So why don't you throw in a couple of tidbits, probably that weren't here in my cheater's notes.
Oh gosh, where to start? Well, Dare to Dream is actually evolved, and I've decided to call it Beyond Tomorrow, because when I think about the next generation of leaders, it's really, I think academically, we got them covered.
Right.
Even in the Dare to Dream, which is now Beyond Tomorrow program that I piloted with Jen's Education, they were showing us their homework for the summer. I was looking and I was like, I don't remember this. Hypotenuse and radius. I'm like, that's fine, that's covered. Right. Academia is covered. And when we look at the UAE, especially with what they're trying to do with AI and technology, they have big goals, huge goals. But for us to leverage the power of technology and AI, we need to have leaders with life skills. And I think this is a gap. And I think, especially with what the UAE has just announced with life skills readiness, it is the perfect combination for the leaders of tomorrow. So when it comes to Beyond Tomorrow, we're trying to fill that gap. How can we create a pipeline of UAE's best leaders of tomorrow? And that is really what I want to build here in the UAE.
I love that. Life skills are so underrated. Because once you have the life skills, you can use the technology and make your mind map or your progress that you want.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's that even. We're looking at our topic that we're going to discuss today.
Which I know we're going to go off topic. So.
Yes, of course we are, but we could mention it just because we did such a good job. I'm writing it here, okay? Okay, so you see, more than ever, young women need to protect their mental health and well-being while they navigate the unique challenges they're facing during a critical phase of their lives. From what I've seen, confidence in girls isn't built through pressure or reassurances alone, but through repeated experiences, which you just touched on, life skills.
Mistakes.
Right, and mistakes, okay? And where they're allowed to try to fail, speak up, and still feel safe and supported. Wow, that is very cool, but it's also kind of scary, because there's some scary thoughts inside of that. Like now that you've been around a lot of the teenage young women, as I like to call them, what are you seeing in teenage girls right now that worries you the most?
Fear of failure, in the sense of fear of failure when they're doing something new. So let's take a step back for a second. Remember when you and I were growing up, our parents would basically kick us out of the house and say, do not come home until the streetlights are on. They're out of the house. And then in the 1990s, especially in North America, what happened is we had street violence, worried about kidnapping, et cetera, et cetera. So all of a sudden parenting changed, and all the parents were like, you have to stay indoors. Right. And what the problem that presented is that we weren't able to fail in the real world. Then what happened, especially in the early 2000s, 2010, they have a phone in their hand. So not only are they not failing in the real world, but now they're not even in person with people to fail. They're just scrolling. You cannot learn bravery from watching a YouTube video of a skater falling. You actually have to be out there and fail. So what I'm seeing here is that we cannot build confidence online. You have to do it in practice. If you look at the etymology of the word confidence, it means with trust. We need to trust ourselves to give something a go. But you cannot do that in your mind. The genius is in the doing, not the thinking. So when it comes to confidence in girls, they're not getting enough practice when it comes to doing new things and failing at those new things. They're not doing that feedback loop that's so important for their brain to learn, I'm going to try again, I'm going to try again, I'm going to get frustrated. And most importantly, they're not, when they fail, they don't say, I failed, therefore I'm a failure. I've made a mistake, therefore I'm a mistake. It's important that they don't join those two. Meaning, I failed at something I try, but that doesn't mean that I'm a failure. And this is absolutely correlated with confidence. You can't build confidence without failure. It's impossible.
Wow. So is it a trial and error type of thing?
Yeah. So it's, have you ever seen archer fishes?
Yeah.
Archer fish. I have a PhD. When they're underwater and they spit water and they try to hit an insect outside the water on a branch.
Right.
And so they're constantly trying to re-aim over and over and over again. They're constantly just tweaking it a little bit. And we have chemicals in our brain that help us. The difficulty is that if you don't say, I need to try again, and you take it as, well, clearly I'm failing, right. You basically imprint your brain saying, when things are hard, give up. And your brain will wire itself that way to just not give things a go. We have to allow them to fail and get frustrated, but push through that frustration until they get it. and then they try the next hard thing. It's like riding a bike. You can't ride a bike without scraping your knee a few times. We want bruises. We don't want scars with these kids. We want them to fall down more often, because if not, they're just coasting.
Oh, that makes sense. Now, okay, so we're still talking about a specific age group right here. So is there a big challenge for confidence at young women at this age of the early teens, I guess?
Yeah, so there's some interesting research. When it comes to girls, we have more issues earlier, so 12 and 13, whereas boys
have issues until they're put in the grave. Did you want to say?
Until they're
Sorry, gentlemen, I didn't.
Around 14 and 15.
Right.
So, but at the most part, we're looking at adolescence. Now, the question is, when does adolescence happen? Because now it's just getting earlier and earlier. But, I mean, there's really, at the start, we thought there was a correlation between phones, social media, and declines in mental health issues, namely depression and anxiety. But now we know it's a causal relationship. So one of the most important things, we're so protective of kids in the real world. We need to be more protective of them when they're online in their digital real world. This is key.
That's right. It's their parallel world.
It is, even though it's teaching them, it's taking away from them learning real life skills. And I know if there was a teen, you don't understand my world. I get that. But when you look at the science of brain development, we need to have more in-person situations and challenges. For example, even right now, you're trying to predict what I'm about to say. You're looking at my facial features.
Yes, exactly.
We're even sitting the same way. This is called mirroring. It provokes trust. You probably don't even know that, but you do this through practice. A teenage girl cannot learn mirroring synchronicity through a phone. We need to get them off their phones and into the real world and practice. Now, here's the challenge. How do we do that when they're addicted and they say, Mom, this is important to me? I used to teach how to stop binge eating. And as I always said to the people, I said, you have to find something that gives you as much of a high, as much of an addiction, as much of a thrill as you do when it comes to binge eating. We have to find that same solution. How can we give them something that gives them a thrill, but not on their phone? And this is what Beyond Tomorrow is aiming to develop. How do we create that cool factor, but outside their phone?
And have you found some of these cool factors?
Yes.
You want to give us a couple?
Oh, no, stay tuned. That's in development right now.
Oh, okay.
But this is the thing. I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them to put down their phone forever. I think that's going to be a hard task.
Yeah.
I think it's remember the swap it, don't stop it? You swap an apple for a chocolate bar, but you can still have a piece of cake for dinner. It's a swap it, don't stop it. It's that slow baby step away from the phone, but you have to give something cool for them to do. And that's what it
could even be something, maybe they want to start sewing their own fashion to become fashion stylists or technology wizards or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess it's like time blocking your day too. If you can start doing that, you become more productive.
Yep.
And you also do the things that you don't want to do, but you've got them in there. They're timed in there. So that's just one of the processes. I find my children are older; they're no longer teenagers. But I would find this time to be particularly difficult for parents. They must be. They're Geiger counters. They're direction maps. They must be it must be very difficult. We had the problem is that all of a sudden this brand of peanut butter was really popular, and then I don't know, some girl named Mary said she didn't like it, and we'd have to change the peanut butter because it was some girl named Mary. Now you've got billions of influencers and whatever.
They're playing the status game. They're seeing these people get instant gratification, instant validation online. And they're saying, well, in my mind, if I do that behavior, then people will like me too. So they're playing the status game. Now, if you take this back, 500 years ago in a village, a kid would look at, the horseman that's really, really good at, don't know, what do you call it, being on a horse and, doing the arrow. Riding, archery and horsemanship at the same time, and they were trying to emulate them. But you can see that is a skill that's advantageous to them at that time. Now, these kids are learning skills. Now, perhaps one can argue with me on this, but I don't know if contouring is really going to help with sustainable development goals development. So, yes, these things are nice to have, but we also have to give them skills. And this is why when it comes to Beyond Tomorrow, we have 5 different pillars. One of them is Beyond Tomorrow Impact. How can we help them get out of their own worlds and realize there's an entire world out there that needs help? How can we get them out of that bubble? And we also have another pillar called Beyond Tomorrow Ambition, which is all about how can we get them, if they are going to go onto YouTube and create a business, great, make money, be financially free, but also tie it back to impact. And that is where that circular beauty comes in.
Yeah, impact, even global impact, which is really important. Mm-hmm. In high schools, I don't know if they still have that in Canada, but they used to have that I think it was like a technical high school. So that you had maths, sciences, and you could be a wizard in all those as well. But if you wanted, you could learn body, what they call it, body shop for cars, cooking, electronics, photography, and everything.
Still have it.
Oh, do they have that in some of the schools here that you know of?
I believe so.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's called career orientated.
Right.
So there is academic and then there's career orientated skills.
Well, it would be nice if they had both, because that even if it's not one of their careers, it might give them the life skills that they need to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And for a second I had to think contour, and then I remembered makeup. And making sure the brown is in the right places.
That's it.
I've seen some of those come up. I've honestly even tried it and not very successful at it. So that's okay. I can't be successful at everything. Right. So any other tidbits that we could give our parents, or something to like breathe, or make them, because they are feeling lost. Maybe there's some kind of a take-home message.
Two things is, one, curiosity. Right. Curiosity is probably the most important factor you can have. Rather than telling, be curious, ask open-ended questions.
Right.
The second thing is, if you want your teens to be more open yourself. So from the time I was 19, I was in a relationship with 2 young girls, and then my latest relationship, 2 young girls as well. So I've raised 4 teenage girls. And I have to admit, everyone says, oh gosh, wasn't that horrible? I said, it was actually great. Yeah. They were great kids. And for sure, it wasn't to do with me. I think I had some part of it. But the main thing I tried to do was always be curious, rather than, ask, don't tell. And the second thing is, if they were to ask me, tell me something about yourself, I would use it as an opportunity to be as open as I thought was beneficial for them.
Right.
Talking about my past in mental health, disordered eating, when I was at my lowest point, when I felt really sad, if a boy dumped me. I tried to be as explicit that I thought was necessary, so they could really understand the stories that I was telling myself, and when they were helpful and when they were not helpful. Because at the end of the day, they're going to learn monkey see, monkey do. Monkey feel, monkey understand those feelings.
Yeah, and I think when you're having a conversation, they can feel the honesty.
Yes.
Yes. They can feel
honesty and trust.
Yeah, honesty and trust, and then they're being not talked to.
Talked with.
Yeah, having a conversation.
It's a conversation.
I love a conversation because it just goes on and on and on. And let's see where we're going to go on to, because I could go off topic a little bit, but I think this is really beneficial for our whole group that we have here. So, this is a very important aspect too. So, is this something that you see happening in the UAE specifically, expat UAE, or is it a global issue? Also, because the UAE is very Instagrammable. So, and I always think that sometimes people look at the UAE as the lucky place. And I'm sorry, but it is a lucky place. We're very fortunate here. But at the same time, people work like the Dickens.
Yes, they do. I don't think, are you referring to, for example, when it comes to teenage girls?
Yes, sorry, I should have brought that back to teenage girls, yes.
I definitely don't think it's a UAE issue, and I think this is what the data showed, especially in regards to the impact of social media. We don't see it just being pocketed, isolated events in US and Canada. This is a widespread. After 2010, you saw a dramatic decrease in mental health in both boys and girls when it comes to two main factors, anxiety and depression. For example, in North America, the requirements for college counseling shot through the roof because of the impact of social media. People were making less friends. They were networking less. They were staying at home more. So is this a UAE? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I think what the UAE is doing, especially as they just announced Skills for Life, this is just another example of how the UAE is thinking ahead. They're saying, okay, we know this is going to be a problem. One, they've restricted social media for kids 15 and younger. Two, they've added life skills. So they know that this is a long game. They're not saying we're just going to fix this, we're just going to cut everything off. They're saying let's minimize this, but also what is it that we can add? Swap it, don't stop it. How can we add these skills for life so they are prepared when they get off their phone and go into their first job interview? We have to give them practice at failing. They're not failing enough. They're not being rejected. Rejected right now is swiping left or swipe right. That is not going to happen in a job interview. In a job interview, they're going to let you down. And if you cannot fall down and get back up again, no matter how amazing our technology and our AI is here, unless the future leaders of tomorrow have the skills to be rejected and to fail, those technology skills are pointless. We're not going to be able to take advantage of them. We have to give them those life skills.
Now, what other skills do you see that just I'm looking, like I'm trying to think of the skills that they could be failing at? Like, what skills are you trying to, like, I mean, the job interview and...
Relationships, connection.
Relationship, connection.
Yep. We are living, and this is obviously, you would have heard this time and time again, we're living in the most connected world, yet we are so disconnected. We, even in regard to how they express their emotions, they express emotions through emojis.
Yeah. Actually, now, like, the light bulb just went on. Right? It takes a little while. I only had one espresso. Give me a break here. But the light bulb went on. So, in one of the, and if I do find it again, if it does pop up on my feed, which was actually an Instagram feed, it was a video, and it was AI generated, but very well done in the sense it was a video talking about kids, let's say in the 70s, 80s, I don't know, when they were trying to put these kids saying, like, what do you mean you look at a screen all day long, and before you have dinner, you take a picture of it, and you have to wait to see how many likes you have or something like that.
It is so good.
Yeah, it was really, really, really well done, And it did have that lights come on home. You did get to have, when the lights came home, nobody questioned it. You just ran home. Right?
Yep, that's it.
Right, but you were talking to your friends. But I can't remember all the antidotes, but you're right. There was a lot of things about having relationships, and I think there was one saying that, great, you've got 1 million, zillion, trillion, billion followers, which are great, I guess, because it is for a business aspect. But I want you to have people first so that you can actually, if you do have something, that's.
And also, what if they lose? What if social media got shut down tomorrow? How do they get validation? How do they know they're a good person if social media didn't exist? Could they actually give you an answer within 30 seconds? And listen, I'm not saying that adults are any better. Us adults are not doing a great job when it comes to being off of social media. I know how social media affects me and how much I need to put down my phone. I mean, a lot of my brand has to be online. Do I want to be online? No. But it's that balance. And here's how I do it. If if I get a really beautiful, nice comment, that's wonderful. I'll be like, oh gosh, I'm doing a great job. But then if I get a really negative comment, a friend will say, oh, don't listen to the naysayers. They don't know what they're talking about. But if I don't listen to them, shouldn't I also not listen to the nice comment as well? How is it picking and choosing? We can't just pick the good and then ignore the bad. That's validation, even though it's quote-unquote not comfortable validation. We need to protect ourselves and understand, if I put this post out, is it something that is true to me? Is it something that's beneficial for the person that might not double tap it or comment it? This is what we have to get to. It's a hard thing. It's addictive.
Right. And I'm also thinking for a younger me, if I was on social media as a younger me and there would be horrible comments, if there would be horrible comments, I would be totally devastated. Yeah. That was being like not being allowed into the sorority or fraternity.
Yeah.
So not a good look. And you're right. If I find if I'm scrolling too long for some reason, I get down into that rabbit hole. And I do it too late at night. I'm too wired even to go to sleep. Just too wired to go to sleep. And there's great stuff out there. There's interesting stuff out there. God knows how much we've saved and probably never will look at again, which is unfortunate. One day they'll tell us how to clear that out. But it is the time where we're in time where you can all be online if you want to be. You can all be out there. You can be marketing yourself out there. There's a lot going on to this to unpack here, but it's an exciting time. But I also think, let's get to the parents, because I look at my parents' skills. I didn't come with a handbook. I made so many mistakes, which I've apologized even to my children too, because I didn't know. It's not an excuse, but I didn't know. You don't come with a handbook. So what are parents accidentally doing to be unhelpful, but they have good intentions? What are they doing? In regards to, obviously, teenage girls.
Yeah, I think it comes back to being too helpful. For example, one of my stepdaughters loved to cook, right? So there's a couple different ways I could teach her. I could measure everything and just show her. Right. Or I could say, okay, first, here's all the ingredients. What do you think should go in the bowl first?
Make her think.
Okay. Yeah, wonder.
And why?
And then, exactly why. Teach a man to fish, they'll fish for a lifetime. So I think because we are so busy, as you said before, especially here, it's like trying to get to work, 9 till 9 work, and then you're like, let me just show them how to do it.
Micromanage.
Let me just show them how to sweep, and then they can do it. We need to let them use these beautiful things, this beautiful muscle between their ears, and start to develop it. Again, they need to understand why things work, why things don't work. They need to figure it out. Everything is figure-outable, but we need to allow them to figure it out on their own. And it takes a lot of patience, don't get me wrong. When I was teaching them skills and had laundry and this and that, inside I was just in a white padded room in my head going, oh my God, how do you not know how to do this? But you just
where's the logic?
Yeah.
Where's the logic, Susan?
Okay. Yeah, I wish you love and light. You got to let them fail a lot. It's like my dad. My dad would never give me advice. He would always say, well, have you considered? Just start with that. Have you considered? Okay, I want to put the eggs in first. Well, have you considered what would happen if you put the flour in first? And they're like, I don't know, well, what would happen? Blah, 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 blah.
All right.
Have you considered? It's one of the best phrases my dad has ever taught me. You can use it in businesses.
Have you considered? We'll get T-shirts done.
There we go.
Have you considered?
But even in leadership meetings, when you're mentoring a young junior coming up, rather than telling them what to do, okay, that's an interesting idea, but have you considered what happened if we use this law to approach this situation? Stop, wait, bite your tongue, go into the white padded room in your head for a little piece, and allow them to fumble and fall.
Is there room for two? Because I would be in that. Is there room for two in the padded room?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an internship program, which we do with CBC Dubai. That's what our gal we run and have interns coming out from. And we use a similar process. Kind of have you, we honestly, there was something that I used when I was teaching. I was actually teaching computer skills and whatnot and language skills. It's called Learning Through Teaching program. But it's an interesting thing that they do. And you might want to try this toy. So you have to describe exactly like the process of cooking, or we use sometimes getting out of bed and go, how did you go to school, right? So the process is I woke up and I walked into the shower. Oh, with your pajamas on. You didn't mention that you didn't take off your pajamas, right? No, jeez. And then go back. So the process is to really, it's the mind map, the road map, to really go ahead and have you considered? You might. I really like that. We're going to steal
Tell
that.
my dad.
Yes, please do. And we'd like fishing too. Okay. Okay. If I were a parent listening today, I'm still listening because your kids are always your kids. Okay. Okay. Listening today, what is one thing they can change this week? Today, this week. We're not, no pressure. Sorry.
No, asking questions, being open-minded, and, have you considered, but I think sharing a little bit about yourself, what's going on with you. If we expect our kids to open up and share what they're dealing with, sometimes it's a lot easier if someone goes first. Like when you're in, bad example, but in group therapy, no one wants to go first.
Right.
No one wants to be the weirdo that goes first. So as
a weirdo.
Say something. I couldn't believe this happened. I was in a meeting and someone spoke over me and they took my idea. I felt like so used and felt stupid. And then I just said, oh, that's a great idea. And I should, talk.
Yeah.
Talk about what actually has gone on for you, not the highlight reel. Talk about your emotions as well in a really specific way. I felt hurt. I felt misunderstood. Another way that you can ask your kids how they're feeling, rather than saying, oh, how you feeling? The default is going to be, I'm fine, whatevs.
Yeah.
If you just switch it a little bit and say, how does it feel to be you right now? All of a sudden it stops them, and they really have to think, right now? Right now? There's actually a great app. It's done by Yale University. It's called, I think, How We Feel. It's free, completely free, incredibly validated on clinical studies, and it's an app that you can, basically, it just comes up, it says, how do you feel? And you can pick the emotion, but it actually helps to describe that emotion, and you can do a voice diary to explain how you're feeling. It gathers your emotions over time. It's a brilliant app by Yale University.
Oh, it sounds
totally free. Both on Android and iPhone.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case. Well, I think having these, I call them toys and whistles and things like that, make a big difference. I really like the ideas that you might want to have a more open conversation with your children. Sometimes your children, because if you haven't done it enough, they may not want to listen right away. Just words, heads up, just asking for a friend or telling a friend here, as they say. Because, then they've all of a sudden they're in the shoes on the other foot. They might have to actually listen. So, you might want to know when to.
Yeah, the best time is when you're moving forward. So if you're walking a dog together, just so it's not like face on face.
Right.
If you're both looking forward, that's the best way, simply because it's non-confrontational.
Right.
And also, obviously, they can look away. When you're trying to have a serious conversation, you're like, where do I look?
Like in the elevator, hi, good morning.
Yeah.
You've hit button 42, but you're not going to say good morning. Oh, very good idea. I like the idea. So we've already got this visual. We're walking the same direction. You don't have to look at the eye contact if they're freaked out or you freak them out. So you're opening some doors here. So I think parents are getting a lot out of it. And I again, it's not necessarily just parents. This could be anything. This could be with a coworker. This
Conflict
could
with
be...
a coworker. The
Yeah.
best thing to do is get out of the building.
Okay. Well, okay. We're going to touch again. Well, let's talk about get out of the building. I was going to go on to my next point. Conflict with a coworker. Get out of the building. Why are we getting out of the building? Because you won't kill them?
Neutral ground.
Okay.
Neutral ground. You want to take away any stimuli that's going to remind you of the conflict. So let's say if you had conflict in the boardroom, the worst place to resolve that conflict is actually where the battleground took place. Get out of the building, get moving, move forward. And also remember, when it comes to resolving conflict, there's two ways to go about it. You can either prove you're right or make things right.
And a lot of people do number one.
Number one.
I wish people would
Yep.
try to do number two.
Yeah. And it's going in with curiosity. Yeah. Curiosity is a big thing. The other thing is you can have, for deeper relationships, you can have a safe word or a trigger word. So it could be like with my ex-partner, we had pickled onion. So whenever I had something important to say, and I'm a reformed people pleaser, he was totally fine with conflict. I'll be really nervous about bringing something up, and I'm like, oh God, and I was catastrophizing. I'm like, if I bring it up, and then this and that.
And you've already built it and
built it up in my head that it was going to be a catastrophe.
Right.
There's no point.
Yeah.
Just let sleeping dogs lie. Yeah. So I would say, hon, can we have a pickled onion conversation? And that would immediately tell him, I'm really nervous.
Right.
I have something to say. I don't want to say it. So can you just give me a little time and distance just to get my words out? Mm-hmm. So this is really effective also in a work relationship as well. If you have one that's generally more dominant, the other one's a little bit more passive, a little bit more people-pleasery, as the person who's a little bit more confident and a little bit more comfortable, you can actually bring this up and say, if you ever have to tell me something and you just feel a bit weird, why don't we say ivy plant? And then I'll know that you need to tell me something, and I will do my best to just sit and listen. So it's something funny, it's something a little bit fun.
And actually, that actually shows a lot of growth, even in both parts, to
Both
be
parts.
able. Yeah, I like that. So now we knew why we were getting out of the office, and I was like, oh, does one person escape? No, okay, now see, because we didn't want to leave all these cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Cliffhangers are for Netflix, okay?
That's it.
But or for the next podcast. There you go. All right. So, if a parent is listening today, we did that. So they were listening. So I thought they were listening today, but listening in general to their children. Okay. So, I love this part. So, what does a confident girl actually look like in real life beyond grades and achievement? And is there such thing as a confident woman? We're going to do the girl first.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
So remember when your kids were growing up, and they're little, and they were taking risks, or running around the house, and all of a sudden you would hear like thump, 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 like down the stairs. My brother and I would always fall down the stairs because they were so slippery. And at the very bottom of the stairs, I would start crying. That's a good sign, right? The parents would be like, yeah, just brush it off, you're fine, as long as you heard something. But if you heard dump, 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 and then nothing, you were scared shitless as a parent, right?
Right.
When you heard silence, that's scary. And this is the same thing when we grow older. The more we can actually share what's going on for us, secrecy and shame breed off each other. The more we hold things to ourselves, it's kind of like holding in a fart. If we hold in a fart, we're going to get really, really uncomfortable. It's not good for us. We need to let off these things off our head, just like we let out a fart. So for me, a confident woman doesn't wait for the right time to say the uncomfortable thing. Now, I'm not saying being disrespectful or being inappropriate. I'm saying just having the confidence to say, you know what you said actually really hurt me, and I really wanted to just tell you that because I care for you, and it's important for us to be honest with each other. Rather than just saying, if the other person says, hey, I'm fine. Confidence is not silence. Confidence is saying, you hurt me, or I love you first, or whatever it is. It's actually speaking up. And it sounds like such a small thing, but speak up or your silence is going to speak for you a lot more in this life. Now, this is in relationships, this is in work, this is in pitching a business. We can't wait for the perfect time to say the perfect thing at the perfect moment. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then if you wait, the years pass.
And they pass very quickly.
Yes, they do. There isn't really a perfect moment, but maybe the moment you just choose to speak is as close as it's going to get to perfect.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is getting way too deep. We're usually just so, we're both, which is lovely. So, now that you've been building these programs, okay, you found them to be obviously something that rocks your socks, cranks your turn. Yep. But what would success of these programs look like for you?
In the short term, it would be a girl coming home and not even looking at her phone, sitting at a dinner table and saying, "You would not believe the day I had. Oh my gosh." That would be the best thing. Why? It's connection.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's the first step. Is how do we get people, not just kids, people to put down their phones and be more connected.
Be more present.
Number 2 is how can we build UAE's next talent pipeline? How can we give them, the UAE, we're doing a great job with it when it comes to technology and AI, but we need to teach the next generation of leaders human skills. We need to give them practice. So it can go alongside, and we can make that technology and AI effective. The two are yin and yang. They need to belong with each other. So it would be developing a life readiness program for both boys and girls that prepares them for the real world alongside the amazing aspects of AI and technology.
And where do the parents fall in this program?
Oh, yeah, who cares about them? They're screwed up. Listen, it's interesting that you say that because it takes two to tango, right? So I could go on and on and on how I envision beyond tomorrow, but one of the aspects is how can we help parents with the skills that they need to, obviously we can't give them a handbook, but we can try to give them as best of a handbook as we can.
True. And I think, and I'm almost 100% sure that if you see what your children bloom, your children bloom coming home and being excited about something, that they wanted to almost tell you first before they put it on the net, right?
Yes.
That's enough to make you fall. Yeah, it's a proud moment, but it's also to make you follow that that path. So we've got Dare to Dream, and so what was this going to be? What are you going to call it then?
Beyond Tomorrow.
Beyond Tomorrow. Dare to Dream Beyond Tomorrow. So Beyond Tomorrow. So what is your next step tomorrow? What is your next step that you're going to work on?
Right, so we've done the pilot program with Gems Wellington School, which went fantastic. We gathered a lot of data. We have a lot of testimonials from students and teachers. So next year we're looking to expand this program into more schools. So it's a 6-month program that touches on the 5 pillars of Beyond Tomorrow, which is mindset, ambition, wellness, impact, and connection. The second thing would be a small group program, 6 months. So this would be out of school every Saturday. It would be for 10 girls, and they'd be working on a very interesting project, which I can't say yet, but they're going to think it's really cool. They're going to think it's really cool. They're going to be like, oh my God, I need to do this program, but it's just going to be for 10 girls. So if parents are interested, I urge them to contact me today to try to get a spot. And then after that, just expanding the program. And other than that, just looking after my 2 dragons, my 2 dogs.
Oh, that's right. And tell me the names of your dogs first.
Eduardo and Esmeralda.
Eduardo
Lockhart and Esmeralda Apricot. Or Ezzy and Eddie.
Ezzy and Eddie, yes.
Yeah.
Your little walkie, car.
Everything is twice. Do you want treat, car, park? Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
From early.
Yeah, I don't know. It's twice. Maybe it's like park for the 2 dogs. I don't even know. Who knows?
But there you go. You've created a habit.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So I'm very happy that we were able to have this time together. It has flown by, just flown by. I could go off topic another 1,000 times, but I promise I won't. But I want to leave you and me and anyone listening to us some closing words, or again, if I have my magic fairy dust or fairy wand, and what would you like to see happen for your program? Sure. Obviously, we want world peace and some have a place that everyone can grow up safe and be healthy and happy and move forward. But what would you like to see happen?
I would love to gather more data, because at the end of the day, I can either learn and practice or learn from the parents who are raising these girls. So we have an anonymous survey, an anonymous questionnaire. They can just contact me on Instagram, LinkedIn, website. It'll take about 2 minutes to do this questionnaire. We're just trying to figure out what's going on behind closed doors. So that's probably the first thing, is just if they would be generous in regards to their experience. And the second thing is if they wanted to contact me and find more about Beyond Tomorrow, I'd love to hear from them.
Yeah, and that is what we want to see, because we want a better future beyond tomorrow.
Yes.
We want it to be set to leave a legacy, and I think you are. I'm positive you are. So thank you again for all your prego per così poco. So there's a little Italian thing happening. We'll tell you guys next time.
Yeah.
But thanks again for coming, and basically whenever they can, we'll make sure we leave all the details there. We want to make sure that people reach out to us for any other interesting speakers or comments they want to tell us. So we're here ready for you. Thanks. From CBC Dubai and myself, Diana Szyszka-Pompei.